What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Horrorheads podcast. I am Rich Mallory here with my co-host Jerry Lorenko.
Season 3, Rich. What's up?
Yeah, dude. I can't believe we're kicking off season 3 tonight. I can't believe we made it past one episode, let alone to a third season. But very cool. And as you'll see if you're watching this on video, we do have a special guest tonight. Director Mercedes Bryce Morgan is on. I just saw a cat walk by on their screen a few moments ago, so we'll get into a little bit about her cat and her films. She actually directed with Jerry and I. It was one of our favorite films from last year, Bone Link. So we are really excited. She's on. We also are doing our very first pizza party. So we're about to reveal some pizza in a little bit and do some drinking.
Pizza party.
We have a pizza party.
Better get some.
Yeah, and we will prove that California pizza is just as good as New York pizza, or maybe we won't. We will see. You can follow us on Instagram at horrorheadspodcast. Email us your love and hate to horrorheadspodcast@gmail.com. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are available. You could watch the video on YouTube, so you could see all of the drinking, and you could see us kind of get really fucked up sometimes. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Also, last bit of housekeeping, I'm excited to announce that we are going to be doing something new this season. We are launching what we're calling Horror Shots. That's where Jerry and I each randomly, each week we will pick a different movie that we get to watch and talk about. It'll be kind of a more looser, lighter kind of episode that we're going to use to fill in between our longer episodes. Usually we were doing bi-weekly. Now we're doing weekly. So we're going to have a lot more content this year. So real excited to do that. We also are, we're going to do a lot of drinking this year and have some great guests. And first we are going to have Mercedes is on. So thank you. Welcome. So before we get into some drinking and some pizza, what is the cat's name that walked by? So an orange cat.
So more important than movies is the cat. Just kidding. We love movies. But the cat's name is Sir, because that way you could yell out after him, "Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?"
Love it.
I love that.
Yes. And he's going to join us a lot.
I hopefully Jerry has a bunch of cats. I have one cat.
Don't talk about it, dude.
I have a black cat named Goblin, and I mostly call him Buddy. You know,
fantastic.
Hey, buddy, come here, buddy. So that's that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. So before we get into, we're also going to talk about Evil Dead 2, which is a movie that Mercedes chose for us to talk about. It's a movie I haven't seen, and I have a little story about how I first watched that movie. But before we get into anything, I'm starving. I want to eat. I want to drink. So I'm going to pour what I have here tonight. I have something called Brothers Bond bourbon whiskey, which Jerry recommended to me. So I'm going to have this for the first time. What do y'all got drinking? What are y'all doing tonight?
So I have Boochcraft. Whoa. It is cranberry apple, 10% hard kombucha. So I was like, I have to pick something unique for this. So I went for it.
I've never had hard kombucha before. I love kombucha. It's what I drink whenever I get sick for whatever reason. My brain thinks that makes me feel better. I always.
This is going to make me feel great. So,
Okay. So you have that, Jerry. What do you got?
Wait a minute. Excuse me, sir. What are you doing by the lamp over there?
Excuse me, sir.
The
Yes.
cat's trying to get out. That sir is trying to leave right now.
We're not. No matter how, listen, Mercedes, no matter how much I drink tonight, I'm not going to tell you how many cats I have. Okay.
Oh, now it makes me want to get it out of you.
We're not. So it doesn't matter. But what I am drinking is the best bourbon in the world. It's Brothers Bond bourbon.
Oh my God, twinning. You guys are twinning.
Some straight bourbon whiskey with a nice message here from Ian and Paul's. So this is Ian Somerhalder's brand. Loving it.
You're trying to get him on the show. I know that's what's happening.
I might be. You know, I first started drinking this during COVID. They launched their brand, and I thought it was just going to be like some marketing thing, but it climbed to one of my top bourbons. So I'm enjoying it.
All right, I'm gonna be the judge of that. So let's cheers before we get into some pizza. So crack open that. Yeah. Oh, the ASMR was great.
Yeah, awesome. I like that. That was like 3D.
Exactly. Cheers.
Okay, I like this, Jerry. This is good. It's got that caramel taste to it. It's not too hard. It's nice and easy. Goes down nice and smooth. 40% alcohol. It makes sense that it's so smooth. Yeah, it's good. It kind of reminds me of Woodford. It's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely has like a nice little burn right at the end. I like it. I drink this one all the time. This is like my new go-to, so feeling it.
And it was pretty affordable too. It was only like $40. How's that kombucha?
Oh, it's delicious. I mean, it's cranberry, so it's great.
Cranberry is like one of my favorite flavors. I will drink cranberry juice all the time. That's another thing I drink when I get sick is cranberry.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what you should be drinking every time you're sick.
What is
The hard
the
kombucha.
what is the alcohol in it? Is it vodka?
This is a good question. I do not know what the alcohol is. I think it's because it's kombucha. It's like fermented,
Wow.
like extra.
Damn,
That's
and they
what
got it
it
up to
seems like.
10%. Wow,
Yes.
that's some
Look at
heavy
them go.
kombucha.
You guys, this is technology. This is 2026.
We have
We
everything
usually
now.
keep kombucha at work, man. I don't know what's gonna happen now. Let's start guzzling too much. Like Jerry, you're stranger than normal. What's happening? I'm like, man, it's fermented. I don't know what to tell you guys.
So
It's
Mercedes,
definitely
before we
fermented.
kind of get into learning more about you and your films, I did hear you have an interesting topping on your pizza, and let's get into that. So what do you have today?
I do. So I have triple bean pizza, and it's vegan because I'm vegan, and I also have jalapenos on it because the spicier anything is, the happier I am in life.
Do you put hot sauce on pizza? That's my question.
I literally an entire drawer of my fridge is just hot sauce. So
I put
That's
hot
it.
sauce
Full to the
basically
brim.
on everything. Okay,
Yes.
so
Love
I was
that.
hoping that my pizza would look good and compare to Jerry's New York pizza. It does not.
Oh, man. Oh.
It is from Mr. Pizza. I got olives and mushrooms, and this looks pretty sad. And it's gonna taste good though, but it doesn't look good. So Jerry, let's hold up your New York.
We see that New York slice right there. That's a standard.
Yeah, all right.
Look how sturdy it is. It's crunchy. It's like, wait, listen. ASMR right here. Can you hear that? Can you hear that
right.
crunch? Okay.
that's sound design. Though,
And then we got, the nice, that crust. So I don't know. I still didn't see the jalapeno slice though. What does it look like in real life?
Oh yeah, here.
Let's see
I'm
it.
gonna hold
Let's
it up
see
the
it.
way influencers hold up makeup, where they're like,
Oh my God, that actually looks
Here it is.
awesome though.
It does look
"My
pretty
pizza
good.
slice." Oh yeah.
Full jalapenos on there. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right,
All
so
right,
I think New York won the pizza battle. I don't care. I'm gonna enjoy mine anyway, and after a few drinks, it's not gonna make a difference. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So everybody, if you're on
Fucking New York.
Spotify, if you're on Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon, wherever you're listening to this, just pause it right now and put it on YouTube and watch the YouTube because you will see Jerry get pizza all over his face, and it was pretty amusing.
Listen, it's your true responsibility if I have anything in my teeth, just to not let me do the whole
Oh,
show with something in my
same.
teeth. I will.
We
I
all
will
need to look
absolutely
out for
get
each
your,
other.
Yes, I will get
'cause
your
that's
back.
just plain rude to not say anything.
I
Come
might
on,
turn
guys.
off my lighting for this. So anyway, Mercedes, we're really excited to have you on because last year, like we did our top three. We did a top three list of best horror movies of 2025, and we each had Bone Lake on the list. Jerry, I think, had it as his #1 movie he watched last year, and
Thank
he was
you.
yeah, and he watched it, was raving about it. I had never heard of it, and of course, I'm like, oh, let me check this out, and man, I really loved it too. It's highly entertaining. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'll give you the plot really quick, and then Mercedes let you talk about it. It's basically this couple that's kind of having trouble with their relationship shows up at this Airbnb that just happens to be booked by another couple. And, as the movie progresses, you learn that one of the couples has some sinister motives. And, the way the story unravels and is told, you really have no idea what's going on next. What's going to happen next. Like, that one of the couples is up to no good. You have a feeling there, but you really don't know how they're going to get from point A to point B. And the whole movie, it's like they really play with tension in relationships, and there's just a lot going on. And the very last, I would say the last act of the movie, it just gets bonkers. It just gets insanely violent, which was completely
Yes.
unexpected. There's a chainsaw. It's brutal, and it's like the perfect way to end this movie that we both absolutely loved it. So we were just talking about who we wanted to have on for our season premiere, and we're like, let's just reach out because why not get the director of the movie we both love so much. So anyway, thank you for coming on, and this is your third feature film, correct?
Yes. So yes, this is my third feature. Exactly.
Yeah, I watched Spoonful of Sugar also really loved that movie. Highly recommend. Very different than Bone Lake. Very dark. Very
Yes.
dark, artsy movie that I had no idea where it was going, and the ending, I was like, "Fuck, that is a fucked up movie."
Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to talk about both of these. So I guess what I would like to talk about is, I guess one of my questions is filmmaking wise, they're both very different movies and like what you kind of drew you to Bone Lake and the script, and how'd you kind of discover it? How'd you get involved?
Totally. For me, this movie is called Bone Lake, right? So obviously it should not take itself too seriously. And when I first looked at this, I'm like, okay, the bad version of this movie is it's not a fun time. It's not something you want to watch with friends and laugh at it. And so I really wanted to create something, there's so many dark things happening right now. I'm like, my favorite type of horror movies are the ones I could watch with my friends. And it's funny because I kind of look at horror like comedy a lot because I think people who understand horror understand that the appeal is to have that crowd sensation. Like when you watch a drama, you can't really hear audibly what anyone thinks of the movie. And the same is not for horror and comedy. And what really drew it to me to it originally is I love something that has a lot of plot twists, but also it does things that audibly make me gasp when I'm reading the script. I'm like, okay, if I can preserve this feeling for other people, then I'll know that I've done my job.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the comedy because again, I would not classify this movie as a comedy. However, there are moments, especially when you get to that last act, where it kind of goes there, right? And it's like the choices of music that you use and certain kind of sound effects that happen towards the end definitely kind of make it like fun. This movie is fun. And I think that's what horror like kind of should be, right? It should be
Yeah.
like you can make things that are scary, you can make things that are, political that have a message, but you could also make things that are just like a fun time to watch. And it again, the movie is very rewatchable because you kind of pick up on different clues. Even if you know the twists, like it doesn't take away from your enjoyment of the film at all, I feel.
Yeah. And that's my goal because that's the kind of movies that I love. I'm like, I want to keep watching them again and again.
So what was like, I guess I want to ask kind of like the experience of shooting it. I think I read that it was a very, very short kind of schedule, right? I think it was like 18 days or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And like,
Yeah.
so what was that kind of like to kind of like to make sure you got everything? And there's some like elaborate, even though the movie has a kind of small cast and it's in one location, there are some kind of elaborate kind of scenes and shots and setups and things like that. So what was it like kind of working on a schedule like that?
Totally. Yeah. So this is truly an indie movie. Like you said, it's basically four people in a house almost. And it was an 18-day shoot. And I just felt like I lived and slept and dreamed this movie the entire time we were shooting it because we even had 6-day weeks. And so it was just, and we have all these night shoots. So the world just kind of blended into the movie. And what was really amazing about it is I always knew I'm like, man, 18 days is not really enough to make this what it needs to be. Because like you said, the last act, it has so many crazy, wild things we do. And so what was really fucking fantastic about the process is we made it. And then I showed the cuts to my producers and they're like, you know what, Mercedes, we want to give you like 2 more days of shooting to just make the fight scene and the stuff at the end even crazier. And as a filmmaker, you're like, yes, like these people believed in me and they gave us even more money to do the thing. We were like, trust us, we can do this. And so it was just really cool to have that experience. And like with something that's an 18-day movie, I kind of have to plan it so extremely because every single moment on set, I'm like, okay, if we don't do this in time, then I don't get my crazy spinning shot. I'm like, we're just going to lose it. It's out the window. And so that's just kind of the approach I had to it. Is I'm like, this is what we want to accomplish. We need to use every minute of the day.
Yeah, some of the shots are really cool. And I think I don't know if you're referring to the shots where they kind of enter these secret rooms. It's basically the one couple that's up to no good leads I guess the hero couple into like these kind of secret rooms, and one is like a sex dungeon and one is like has a Ouija board and all this weird trippy shit. And when you get introduced to the room, there's these cool like kind of circular kind of camera shots that are really kind of, again, like this movie, when Jerry described it to me, he's like, it's an indie movie, but it feels so much bigger because of some of these kind of techniques that you have. And some of them are really simple. My favorite shot in the movie, my favorite scene in the movie is there's the scene where, I'm trying to remember the character's name. Will, who's the antagonist, has Sage in the car, and they're having this kind of highly charged, sexual, tense conversation. And then it keeps cutting back to Diego, who's like the quote unquote nice guy, and he's being seduced by Sin, who is the other antagonist. And it cuts back and forth between these like static shots, and then there's this one shot where Sin is kind of standing, and it's like point of view. I'm sorry, it's like a 1 point perspective of like Diego's in the middle, and the camera pans up while she's kind of like undressing. Just such a cool artistic shot that is like so good for such like an indie movie. Just like cool little techniques like that.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate.
Yeah, no, like I really wanted to bring it through that because my favorite movies are visual. And even that same scene you're mentioning, we go, okay, as we're intercutting all of these four people, I thought, why not Zolly into each of them and intercut a Zolly between our characters? And so it's just always trying to find stuff like that because, as you know, like this concept of there's these people at this Airbnb and they double book it. It's not something where you go, my God, I've never heard that concept in a movie before. But we're like, we want to make a genuinely fun experience and do it in a way that's creative and artistic at the same time.
And it is like, it's interesting too, because whenever I've rented an Airbnb, like there's always like something in the back of my head that like something is off, you know, and
Yeah.
I've like, yeah. And like, I wonder what I would do in a situation like this. Like, would I just share it with this other couple? Probably.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big
Yeah.
house.
Would?
And
I don't
they seem
know.
hot. They're hot. They're fun. Like, you know.
Dude, I would. I'm like for the story. I'm like, what's gonna go down? Would you not, Jerry? Would you be like, I'm out of there?
I don't know. That particular lake house, I probably would have stayed because it was like gorgeous, but I don't know. I was like super intimidated by that couple, so I probably would have been like, I'm out of here.
I think too, because Diego and Sage are really having problems. Like their relationship almost feels over to me at the start of the movie. And I think if I'm them, I want a distraction. Like I don't want it to be like, especially if
You
I'm
need
Sage.
that buffer. Yeah, you want that buffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Diego's trying to like he's kind of like I don't know. He's kind of like trying to be romantic and nice, and Sage is she's over it at this point. And I think for her, it's like, yeah, bring on these people that way I don't have to like talk to my my man that I'm gonna break up with once we get to our destination.
People do that all the time, and like to me too, I'm like, this movie is kind of the most extreme, literal version of couples therapy. But it's not just wondering will you break up or not. It's like, are you going to die?
Yeah, which I think ultimately kind of brings them together because it finally makes them work together, and like you know, they have to overcome a lot of trust issues that they have to overcome, and I think that's one of the things I like about this movie too. It's like you have this like psychological thriller aspect of it, but you also have this again like he's trying to like decide like you know is his girlfriend faithful to him, like what should he do, like doesn't know how to do it, and it's just really an interesting couples dynamic, and I think both the actors play the parts really really well.
Thank you. Yeah, they did a great job. And I think too, it's that I always look at any good argument is something where you kind of understand both sides. And I think a lot of times you're like, well, they're not intentionally doing anything bad against each other. We kind of get it, but also it's not working. So they need to solve this.
Yeah, it's clearly over, and clearly, like, again, their sex life is over, and you kind of see that like in the beginning of the movie, which is why it's really interesting when this like overly kind of sexual couple kind of comes in, and I love stories like that. And I guess I have a question for you, and feel free if you don't want to answer this to spoil it, but there's that scene we referenced where Will and Sage, so Will the villain and Sage are in the car, and he's kind of trying to seduce her or just kind of get into her head. I believe she sleeps with him.
Damn.
And I want to know, do you have a perspective on that? And if you want to just leave it open, that's for the audience, that's fine. But and the reason why I say that is because later on in the movie, Will kind of tells Diego that, oh yeah, by the way, I fucked your girlfriend. And her reaction, the way she plays it, I'm like, she totally is guilty, and she totally did. So did she? Or
So, okay, this is one of my favorite questions. Like, I've literally had people come up to me after screenings and they're like, did she fuck up?
she did. Yeah.
And my answer is that I don't want to tell you because
That's a yes.
I think that the whole point is that in the movie, Diego can never know, right? And so the whole point is to trust someone. You can't see trust. Like you can't have someone prove if they cheated on someone or not, truly. And so you just have to choose, like, do you trust it or do you not? And that's kind of how you have to live your life.
Yeah, and it seems to me, again, he's just going to I don't know if he's going to get over it, and I don't know if their relationship is going to be okay, especially by the last shot of the movie. And I think that's also where the humor comes in. This very last shot of them, and they're like laughing and they're covered in blood, and then it just cuts to like this stone face like fuck moment, and it's like it's funny in a way, like with the music you have playing, and I know you picked Evil Dead 2 as a movie for us to talk about. I do feel a Sam Raimi influence on this movie, both with how it's
Absolutely.
shot, but also with some of the choices, like again the use of music and the use of kind of humor in that way, and I think he has a very interesting way of using humor, and I feel like there's a lot of similarities here, even though it's a very different movie.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time, but definitely what Sam Raimi is, he just has this visual flair to it that just looks at things in such this great way. And it does have this sense of humor with some cheeky line deliveries. And, you know, to speak to that last shot of the movie too, is I shot that last scene so many different ways because I'm like, you know, again, we're talking about spoilers, so we're just going to let her rip. But like there's a way to end this movie where you think, oh my God, they're great for each other. Everything's okay or everything's not okay. And I kind of wanted to see the different sides of that and kind of just show like people processing what they just went through and is going on. And so to me, like we did all these test screenings and like, I think this is our baby. I think this is it.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to end this movie, especially as, again, I'm someone who roots for the killers in the movie. And I think Sin is like such a great character, like completely like has it all together and then becomes kind of unhinged, and it's really clear that she's kind of more of the leader in her relationship as it kind of progresses through the end. And yeah, I mean, after she meets her untimely death, and again, yeah, we're spoiling it, it's movies from last year, and you can watch it on Netflix now. I heard it's doing really well on Netflix, which is really exciting.
Hell yeah.
I think I saw it on Prime when it was on, but after she's no longer a threat, I was kind of bummed. And then I liked how like it wasn't just like a happy ending, even though the protagonists get away, right? I like that it's ambiguous, and you wonder what's going to happen next, and will they make it to their reservation in Florida? We'll see.
Yeah, totally. It would feel like a disservice not to treat it that way. And also, fun fact, with Sin kind of being in control of her relationship, that's something that wasn't really in the script. That's something that we found together on set. So there's a scene where she's looking in a back closet with Will, and they're watching them try to get away, and she tells them and orders them what to do. And that's something we found in the moment where all of a sudden we were like, wait, let's try this. And it's cool to see how many people hang on to that moment, because it is kind of the first time where you don't get very often to kind of see what they're doing behind closed doors. And so I feel like it ever kind of clicks for everyone in that moment.
It's so interesting that you say that, because yeah, I know it's like you have a script and you're like, the script is perfect. Like, and then as you're making the movie, you kind of uncover different things about the characters, or just think of something that like makes sense and works. And it's so cool when you could actually have the time and the creativity to try to do some different things, right? Because yeah, it's like as we kind of go through the stories, like they kind of change, and then it becomes more like your own, right? Because you're adding your little pieces and collaborative.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, filmmaking is like we're working with real humans in environments where we have storms and lightning, and just I think you kind of have to approach it like that.
Is there anything that you wanted to kind of shoot that you didn't get to just based on time, shit happening?
Totally. I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of the process of us being able to have 2 more days, is because I told them from the beginning, I'm like, guys, we're not going to have a way to shoot the ending the way we need to. We're not going to. And then what happened is, crazy enough, on the last day is that we had this real storm come on top of our fake boat storm. And all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, all this fake, we're like, a producer turned to me, is like, Mercedes, this is like Jurassic World level of rain. You know how much money we're getting out of our rain right now?
Awesome. Yeah, production value,
like,
yeah.
That's great. But then what happened is it was pouring on us. And so all of a sudden we're at the lake at night. It's 3 a.m. Our stuntman slips and breaks his finger. Someone drops his $20,000 lens in the lake. We're like, okay, we need to shut it down. It's not safe. And so because of that, we got the insurance money to go shoot the rest of the boat scene on a soundstage in LA. So some of that boat is actually on water, and the rest of it is just us at a soundstage, like rocking the boat.
I love how you say it's not safe because equipment got
and humans.
Okay. That is such a director thing to say. It's like
no,
I'm kidding.
The finger, the finger is definitely more important than lens.
Well, it depends. Perspective. Yeah, cool. All right, so we're going to talk about you a little bit more, and I do want to talk about Spoonful of Sugar a little bit as we kind of go on, as well as anything you have happening. But I do want to kind of get into the movie that we're going to talk about. So you chose Evil Dead 2, and I know you said it's, again, one of your favorite films. Could you kind of give a little more color into that? Like, why? Like, when did you first see it? Like, what's your experience with it?
Totally. So I didn't watch Evil Dead 2 until a couple of years ago, because my cinematographer, Nick Matthews, who shot this, and he also shot Spoonful of Sugar, and he also shot Saw Ted. He told me, he was like, how have you not watched this movie? Like, that's insane. You haven't. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. And to me, it's really special because it does something a lot of horror movies don't, where it has this really interesting structure. Well, where yes, it's number two, but it kind of just throws you into it. And it's not really plot heavy. It's just, okay, we know there's this supernatural thing going on, and now it's just going to be wacky. And I think, too, it's just a testament that more than half the movie is just him in a room by himself, and it's the most entertaining thing in the world. And I think it just does a lot of things that you don't see. And even though this movie is older at this point, it has so much influence, and you just still see it doing wackier things, like the fact that there's puppets coming out of the walls, and it's just truly creative in a lot of different ways.
Are you a fan of the first one, the original?
I am. Yes, I'm a fan of the original, but I'm just like, but number two is the best, which is also rare. It's not always true that the second one I think is the best one.
You know, it's funny. So I saw Evil Dead 2 before I saw part one, and I saw it, I was a child, and my younger sister was having a sleepover, and I needed to be out of the house for that. And I went to go stay with my stepdad because he wasn't my stepdad at the time. He had his own apartment, and he rented 3 horror movies for us to watch. And he rented, these are 3 random movies. I think it was probably just whatever was new at the video store he grabbed. We watched The Toxic Avenger from like 1984. We watched Sleepaway Camp 2 from like 88. And we watched Evil Dead 2. And I forget which order we watched them in, but I remember seeing this for the first time as a kid and being like, what the fuck is this? Like, I loved it, but it's like you said, it just throws you into this like world.
Yeah.
And it's like all this stuff happens, and it's just like, again, a lot of slapstick and just crazy stuff. And then there's a ton of blood. And I remember being like so blown away because I'd never seen a movie like this before. My horror experience was like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street at this point. And to see like, again, this wild, wacky, creative take on a horror film, I was blown away. I'm not going to say how young I was in 1987, but I was fairly young and probably too young to be watching. Definitely too young to be watching Sleepaway Camp 2 and Toxic Avenger, but definitely too young for this movie. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of it just from the nostalgia. I will say I do like the original better, which I saw later, and I can't speak to why I like that one better because it's very similar. Like in Evil Dead 2, the first, again, half hour is basically just Ash getting his ass kicked by the demons. The last half hour of Evil Dead 1 is basically Ash getting his ass kicked by the demons. So they're very similar movies, but for whatever reason, I think I like one a little better because it seems a lot more low budget. It's like really, you know, you could just tell they did that on no money. And there's something, the grit of it kind of, I really appreciate and enjoy.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's so funny because, like, yes, the first one has the grit of it, but even the second one, nothing in it looks realistic. And so much horror we see nowadays, it's like when someone gets hurt, it's medical grade, right? You're like, that looks like that person's arm actually got cut off. And in this movie, it looks so fake. You know, like he literally looks like he picks up a mannequin for her headless body and throws her in the grave. Or it's like your hand, you're like, that's claymation. But you don't care because you're not supposed to. It's not asking you to take it seriously. And so I think it just nails its tone so well.
Yeah, and you could just tell by the camera work and like the way Sam Raimi uses humor, and it's very slapstick because I know he's a big fan of Three Stooges, and that comes across. Yeah, you could tell. Again, as a kid, I didn't pick up on any of this. I was just like, holy shit. But watching it now, like as an adult, you know, I definitely kind of see that. Like again, you could suspend a lot of the disbelief of how crazy and ridiculous some of these things look and just get into the flow of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I mean, I'm also a big fan of Army of Darkness. I know we're talking about Evil Dead 2, but I just think it's funny that he took that and went, you know what, we can still have fun with it. And we're not even going to do a horror movie this time. Now we're just going to do a comedy, almost like Monty Python type thing. And it works.
Which is crazy. He got the budget for that, right?
Yes, it's completely
it's a crazy
bonkers.
pitch.
Yes.
It's such a crazy pitch. And I know for Evil Dead 2, I was reading it. Stephen King was a big fan of Evil Dead 1, and he convinced Dino De Laurentiis to give Sam Raimi money to make another Evil Dead movie, which I think it's always cool when you hear that like someone a well-known name is like so into your indie movie that they actually like convince someone to give you money to make a better movie. Like I think
totally. Yeah, I mean, like with Alejandro Jodorowsky, very different genre, but he's like, hey, Beatles, give me money. And you're like, that's how this crazy movie was made. Like, who else would do this?
Yeah, Holy Mountain, right? He
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of that movie. I love Holy Mountain.
Same. Yeah, but that's a movie I'm like, no one would usually fund a movie like this, so it takes other crazy, you know, LSD artists to go, yes.
Yeah, you watch that movie and you're like, any of his films really, you're like, how did any studio say we're going to give you money to make this bizarre, bonkers movie that has a very small audience? Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. So, all right, so let's get into it then. Let's talk Evil Dead 2 from 1987.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you heard me. I said Evil Dead 2 from 1987.
This movie's from 1987.
It is from 1987. Yes, it is.
That's really
I know
interesting.
where you're going with this.
That you mentioned that. So Mercedes probably doesn't know where I'm going with this, but Rich probably does.
I do, unfortunately.
Yeah, I love it when someone mentions a year of a film that really like kind of piques my interest, Mercedes, and it makes me almost want to play some sort of drinking game, thinking about that. So I'm thinking we should play some drinking game, and it's an old one. It's a classic one for us that we've been doing probably since like season 1. But for season 3, I mean, it's 2026. We got to bring it new. We got to do some new shit here. So we're going to put a little spin on it. So the name of this game, Mercedes, it's simple.
Okay.
It's called Was It 1987? And I'm just going to throw some horror films at you, and you just have to tell me if it was 1987 or not. Now, here's the thing. If you get it right, I'm going to drink. If you get it wrong, you're going to drink. And because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to give you Rich as a teammate. All right. So now you guys are a team.
We got this.
And you can converse a bit. But here's the thing. Now, it's not just going to be a sip like we normally do. That's how we normally used to play this game. I think Rich has a deck of cards with him.
I do have a deck of cards.
You do have a deck of cards. And it's like some random crazy ass deck of cards of horror films. Is that what it is?
I have these Dimension Extreme horror cards that I got. I don't even know when I got this, but it was like a promotional item, and each card has a different movie on it. And this one is
awesome.
Diary of the Dead. So I have this here. I'm going to shuffle for ASMR because
yeah. So I think that's the deal. So if when someone gets the question right or wrong, he's just going to flip a card, and that's what you got to do.
All right.
So it's a little bold. I hope he doesn't pull too many aces, but and here's the caveat, Mercedes. There's a 95% chance that I'm going to lose.
Okay.
So
So don't get worried, because this is actually easier than you think, because for whatever reason, like these dates stick in your head.
Never works out.
Jerry loses every drinking game we've ever played, and we've done almost 60 episodes at this point.
It sounds fun for Jerry.
Yeah. I'm gonna
okay.
I'm gonna take a bite because I need to like kind of line myself a little bit to get ready for all this heavy drinking that I'm about to do, because I'm a little nervous, because Rich actually already mentioned one of the fucking movies that I was going to test you guys on. And I don't have an alternate here, so I'm going to have to go forward with it.
So we got one of them right.
So you got one right. I'm so annoyed right now. I'm not going to.
Yeah, but you know what? You got that delicious New York pizza, and we don't. So
Exactly.
All right, let's get into it, Jerry. Let's chew your slice, and let's do
Was it 1987? Here we go. We're going to start off like this. Ready? Pumpkinhead.
I don't know. What do you think, Rich? I
think
have no clue.
I think it's 1988. So
Okay.
that's my guess on it.
All right, I'll lead you on that. We're gonna say no.
big fan of Pumpkinhead. I love that movie.
Already I'm losing. See how things happen here? All
right,
draw
so pick
draw
a
the
card,
card,
ready?
man. Draw the card.
A 10.
Dude, are you kidding? Did you shuffle that?
I did. And the movie on this card is Black Sheep, which I believe is a New Zealand movie that I watched, and it's very ridiculous. It is out of control. It's very Peter Jackson from what I remember. All right, so we started off. Jerry's already in the whole 10 sips. So
I just took 10 sips on the first draw here.
Oh my god.
See, I told you we'd be fine.
All right, ready? Peter Jackson's Bad Taste.
I'm gonna say yes.
I would agree with you. I think it's 87.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to pick different movies. What the hell's going on here? Go ahead, draw the card. Draw the card. What the? This is like, I'm not gonna play these games anymore. This is it.
An 8.
Season 3, I'm done.
An
What?
8.
An 8.
Oh, an 8. I thought you said an ace. I'm like,
No,
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 I'm
no,
done.
no.
I quit. I quit already. 8. I mean, 8's not good either, but this is, that's it.
Mercedes, are you a fan of some of those Peter Jackson, the early horror movies that he did?
Oh, yeah,
similar
they're
to
so
Sam
fun.
Raimi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so crazy to go, wait, he did this movie and he did Lord of the Rings. Like it's insane.
Yeah, so I was when I was younger, I was a huge fan of Dead Alive and Bad Taste. Now they're hard for me to watch because they're so disgusting.
They're kind of gross. Yeah.
I have a hard time.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Dead Alive like a year ago for the first time in probably 10 years, and I was like, I couldn't get through it. And I used to love that movie, but my stomach is a little different now.
You know what I think would be even more helpful than like PG-13 or R ratings on movies is if they just told you if it was okay to eat during the movie or not.
Can I have pizza during this movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. Ugh, I'm just thinking of some of those scenes.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't eat porridge. Okay. Here's a fun one. Opera.
Rich, do you have any idea? I would just be guessing.
I think I want to say it's 87. It's my second favorite Argento movie. I'm going to say it is 87.
I'll follow that.
All right, Rich, you're no longer allowed to be on the other people's teams. I'm 0 for 3 right now, and you guys are 3-0. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, 1987. Fuck.
Wow, Rich, that is impressive.
Pull a 2,
For
dude.
some reason,
pull a 2. Just pull a 2 right now.
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, but I remember a year of a horror movie I saw. Okay, 3.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I'm almost done with my drink. What the hell?
And I've never seen Pulse 2. But I'm actually a huge fan of the original Pulse, even though it's a little slow, but I'm a big fan of that movie.
All right, we're up to it already. Just pull the card. Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yeah, we already know the answer to this.
You already know the answer? I mean,
He said it. He said it was
I said it.
1988.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he said it was
Great.
1988.
So you got a 4. You got a 4 on that.
Jesus. I'm got the pour again.
This is great, and I love watching Jerry get completely fucked up.
oh,
while
I'm very
sit here.
entertained right now.
I just want to thank Ian Somerhalder for this brothers bond that I'm enjoying right now, and I have taken
Ian,
an
go on the
incalculable.
podcast.
That's it.
or send us bourbon. Like either way is fine.
Yeah,
All right,
win-win.
I got a great one here. This is Wes Craven's masterpiece that everyone saw and everyone loves. Deadly Friend.
Except for me.
I'm kidding. It's not a masterpiece. It's all awful.
Oof.
But I'm gonna pour anyway, just in case.
Maybe yes. But
I'm
also, Rich, you know this so well.
I don't. So I'm leaning yes, and I'm thinking because Elm Street #1 was 84. I think 2 was 86. I think 87. I'm gonna say yes.
You guys finally got one wrong. 1986.
I'm
sorry,
so relieved
Mercedes.
for you. That's
We gotta
okay.
do 9 though. We gotta do
Oh,
9.
hey,
So-
now we're
my God,
catching up.
that's
Now
all
we're
right.
starting to even up the.
Cheers.
All right, Jesus, God, man, I could take a break here, man.
Ugh.
Okay.
All right. What else we got?
All right, this is like a good one, I think. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Which I
Oh,
just saw recently.
Yeah, that's why I pulled it, just to mess with you, make you second
do
guess
we know
yourself.
like what order that is in like Elvira movies?
It's her first. She only did 2 movies.
It's her first.
And
Yeah.
I believe the second one was 88.
Okay.
Haunted Hills, I think, was 88. So my gut tells me this is 86 or 85. I think
Yeah, I don't think that coming out one year and then the other would be like really.
it took her a
intense.
while. It took her a while to get money for the other movie. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
If I have that correct, I might be wrong on that too, Mercedes.
No,
Listen
I'll
to
say
me.
no. I'm down to say no.
Okay.
So not 1987 is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what we'll
Yeah.
say.
So you guys got the year wrong, but you got the question right. So it's actually 1988 that this film came out.
Okay. All
Okay.
right, so the next one was in the 2000s. Then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I lose
So,
anyway.
you
So
again, yeah.
I mean, here we go. Just pull a 3. Pull a 3. Come on, man. See what we got. Come on.
8.
Oh my God. Enough.
It's funny. So like I saw Mistress of the Dark when I was a kid and was like, okay, I liked it because it was like campy and stuff, but I didn't get half
Yeah.
the jokes. I watched it. She did a screening like a year ago, where she played it in 35 mil, and like I fucking was laughing my ass off the entire movie. It is so good. It's so everybody needs to rewatch that movie.
Elvira. Yeah, no, it's kind of like I watched Austin Powers like way too young and I didn't get it, and then I grew up and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, like when I watched as a
times
kid, I
better,
was
yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, Elvira's hot. I guess I like this, but I didn't get any of
Yeah.
this. Now I watch it. It's constant like one-liners. It is so funny.
Yes.
She's so good. She's so good. And she did like a Q&A. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Big fan. All right, let's do one more.
It's fun for sure. All right, one more. All right. Let me think about where I'm going with this. All right, one more for the final one. April Fool's Day.
I have no clue, so I'm just going to guess randomly no. But what do you think?
I'm going to say no. I think it's 86.
Okay.
How do you guys guess randomly right?
That's a 6.
And it's 86 also. So you just guessed 86. It happens to be 86. Do you have IMDb pulled up? Can you just like flip the camera around right now?
I do not. I have my Gmail notes on Evil Dead 2, which let's talk about that now. Yeah, like I told you, Mercedes, like we're gonna crush
That game
this.
sucks. Okay.
I don't know why I could remember these years, but they stick in my head. All right, so we're gonna talk about Evil Dead 2, which was 1987. I'll give the plot really quick. Ash, played by Bruce Campbell, travels to a secluded cabin in the woods with his girlfriend, where they find a tape recording of a professor and a book of evil incantations, which unleashes a bunch of spirits that possess the souls of the living, and now Ash must fight them to save the world. And this is the first time I watched this movie in a very long time, so thank you for choosing it. We did do an episode on Evil Dead 1, we did do an episode on Army of Darkness, but I did not rewatch this one. And I'd always was under the impression this was like a remake of Evil Dead because there's a lot of similarities. And I guess as watching this and doing the research, it actually is a legit sequel. What ended up happening was why it's so similar is Sam Raimi lost the rights to the footage for Evil Dead 1. So when he made this one, the first like 10 minutes or so is to set up the sequel of the story. So you could kind of like forget Evil Dead 1, and this is a sequel. It does stand alone. You don't need to watch Evil Dead 1 to appreciate this because, like Mercedes said, a lot of it is just Ash getting his ass kicked by a bunch of demons. There's a ton of gore, a ton of crazy monsters, a ton of really crazy shit. I think at this point most people are familiar with these movies, but if you're not, at one point, Ash needs to cut off his own hand because it is possessed by the demons, and he attaches a chainsaw to that arm. And iconic.
So
a shotgun
iconic.
in one hand, chainsaw in the other, and it is just one of the coolest things you'll ever see in a horror movie. So again, Mercedes, you picked this against one of your favorite horror movies of all time.
Yep.
Like let's talk about it a little bit. So what are some of the scenes that you really like in this film?
Totally. I mean, there's a scene where he's in the house and he thinks everything's coming after him. So it's like taxidermy, turns and looks at him on the wall, and even the lamp starts to move. And to me, I've seen so many horror movies and I just haven't seen things quite like that. And it's just crazy to watch it decades after it was made and go, what is this? So that, and just also, you know, of course, it's like the scene where his hand is cut off and then he attaches a chainsaw. I go, fuck yeah, let's go.
It's like groovy.
Yeah, it's groovy.
It's just like so crazy.
So jumping onto that, my favorite actual scene or moment in this movie, it's right after what you said happens. The whole house is going crazy. The taxidermist is talking, like Ash is losing his mind. And then he goes to sit down in a chair. And as he sits down, the chair breaks. And I crack up every time. Because like, all this crazy shit is happening. And they were able to throw in this like slapstick moment of just him just sitting on it. It's so ridiculous that like I love that kind of subtle kind of stuff.
Totally. I also think too, because slapstick kind of went out of style. Like slapstick was something I think it was popular in maybe like, was it the 50s? Like even earlier than that. And then in the 70s, people tried to bring it back a little bit, but it was just only a couple movies. And so to see it, it's always like now we don't see almost any slapstick movies. Like we have a very different brand of humor now. And so I love to see it.
I think it's a lost art too, because to do that physical comedy takes a certain skill set that not a lot of people have. And Bruce Campbell, again, just was friends with Sam Raimi and they started making movies together. And like, he's just so good and iconic in this role and pretty much everything he does, but he's so good at the physical comedy. The faces he makes are just like, again, brilliant. It's just like he does so little and shows you so much. And again, for a horror movie called Evil Dead 2, it's like the movie's a lot smarter than like it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, so he understands the assignment. Like if you put a different person in that role and they took it very seriously, it wouldn't be true. Like it would be true camp instead of this movie is very self-aware. And I love both of them, but I like this brand of it.
What I like too, again, Sam Raimi invented a lot of different camera techniques and style. He created his own style. And you see that in like the bigger budget movies he does, like Spider-Man. Like you see the like he does kind of the similar stuff to Evil Dead, which is crazy. You're just like that he was able to like take this and parlay it into making Marvel movies, but making them his
Totally.
way.
Yeah, I mean, I even think of Spider-Man where it's a little moment, but he's looking at all these news clippings and you see that they put him in front of green screen and they're having all the news clippings go behind his head. And I just go, this is such an inventive thing that we don't see in a lot of other superhero movies, to just add like this level of creativity that's not reality to it. And it totally tracks.
One thing I love about all of the Evil Dead movies, really, but especially this one, it's like the amount of blood they use. Like they are
Oh, yeah.
not shy about using blood. And there are two scenes that stick out in my head where people are just covered. Like there's the scene with Ash where he's shooting at his hand who's behind the wall, and then through all of these different holes, like blood just kind of
Blood
goes spraying
cannon.
everywhere. It's everywhere. He's covered in it. And then there's a scene later on where one of the female protagonists is like trying to stop the demon, and she like is like there's like a door to the basement and it's like opening and like all the blood kind of shoots through into that. And I was reading and I always thought it was interesting that they use red blood but it turns to black at some point. And I read that they chose to use black blood because they were trying to avoid an X rating, which they ended up getting anyway. So like it actually didn't matter because like the movie's so ridiculous. And which is really funny how, not funny, but like back in the 80s, how violence was such a thing that they wanted to censor. And they're like, this movie
Yeah.
had an X rating and there's no sex in the movie at all. But like this was
Wild.
too much.
I didn't even know it has an X rating because I look at it compared to things nowadays. I'm like, no way in hell would this have an X rating.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they actually had to
yeah.
make like a new production company to release it because the Dino De Laurentiis' company wouldn't do an unrated movie. So they had to like create a whole new thing just to put
Wild.
this movie out. Yeah, and again, it's like this doesn't seem like over the top or I mean it's bloody, but it's
Yeah.
funny. It's not even like violent real. I mean, you know,
Totally.
it is, but
Yeah.
it's more
I mean,
campy than anything. And like this was
Yeah.
considered like obscene. It's just wild.
No,
when you
it's
think
so
about it.
interesting. I mean, even in like pitching horror movies and making horror movies, it's really interesting because I think even in the last couple of years, we had something where I feel like it was the late 90s, early 2000s, where we had something where it was more as you go through the movie and as you go through Act Two, there's teases of seeing things and then you don't really show it. And then you tease it, you don't really show it. And what we've seen in the last couple of years of horror movies is we have more full out set pieces earlier on because people have seen so much that they're like, okay, bring it on. And I was in a pitch recently, and there's a scene where the protagonist's head gets like squished by this trash compactor and pops like a balloon. And the
I'm
exec was
listening.
like, yes, the exec was like, I don't know, like, can we show this in a mainstream movie? And I was like, yes. I'm like,
Yes.
horror fans, I'm like, we see this all the time. Like, you know, Final Destination,
Love it.
Bloodlines. It's just like
Hell yeah.
everything that's come out in the last couple of years, and people are like, yeah, of course. Like that is mainstream now. Things that used to be considered weird or too much are now mainstream.
One thing that I really like about getting back to kind of you and your films, and it's in Bone Lake, but it's really in Spoonful of Sugar. You're not afraid to like have like sexual overtones in movies, and I think that's something that you don't see as much of anymore. Things feel a lot more tame, and it doesn't mean there's not like nudity in movies, but there's not a lot of like sexuality. And
Yeah.
I like that you're incorporate that into your film. Spoonful of Sugar, while as dark as it is a very sexy movie, and there's some really twisted things that happen in that movie. So I really appreciate that you're still kind of like getting that in a
Thank
time
you.
where you don't see it that often. It's really
Yeah,
appreciated.
no, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because when I was a kid, I was actually allowed to watch movies that had erotic scenes in it more than horror movies. Like I came into horror movies later because my parents were like, we can't, it'll traumatize her. Like my parents were almost European in the way they raised me, where they're like, sex is fine. They're like, violence, you know, it's kind of the opposite of how we treat things. And so I think to me, I'm like, that doesn't even seem weird to put that in there. But then I look around and it's a thing where different generations are like, oh, sex, that's not as shocking. And then you talk to younger people and they're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, it's definitely like a nice change to. And again, it's not like the movie's over the top and there's there's like a little bit of nudity in it, but like it's the undertones that
Yeah.
make it more interesting and makes the characters more dynamic. I think that you kind of play with these kind of themes that everybody experiences, but people aren't really talking about it as much
Yeah,
in movies.
absolutely.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's go.
I feel like I read that you've been kind of speaking about like the difference between like the male gaze and the women gaze and how you're trying to
Yeah,
flip that. Can you explain that a little bit to like
totally.
maybe like people who may not be familiar with like that kind of like industry kind of terminologies? And
Definitely. So, totally. So for me, it's like, just to explain male versus female gaze is a lot of times when you view movies, it's like, are we viewing it through the characters are making it, or also the filmmaker is going to have a perspective no matter what. So the crudest way to explain it is you're watching a movie and all of a sudden there's just an ass shot of the female character and you're like, okay, like, does this have anything to do with the story? Or is it because the person making it was like, yeah, ass shot. And so the way that I kind of view it is I'm either like, you're going to have nudity of all the genders and sexes, or you're going to have it for no one. So I'm like, all right, if there's male nudity, there needs to be female nudity. And for me, it's just kind of it's a female gaze, but it's also just kind of an omniscient gaze of like, this is how our movie is we have nudity and we have sexuality in it.
yeah, I mean, and that's a great take. And I mean, I'm just thinking of things like, like let's say like Will's scene or something like that. And I was like, man, this guy is sexy as fuck, So it's like
Totally.
you're definitely kind of like, showing like kind of both sides of that spectrum. And I think that's really interesting. And but you don't go as far as something like Kid Cudi in like the X movie,
Totally. I mean,
where I think we've been talking about that for 2 years now, me and Rich.
Yeah, no, like Mercedes about us. We definitely appreciate when there's male nudity in movies as well. Like we call that
Thank you,
out.
guys.
And before we got on with you, I was giving my review of 28 Years Later, Bone Lake, and I was like, okay, the movie was like okay, I enjoyed it. I like wouldn't watch it again, but there's a lot of dick in it, and like that was
I
like
haven't
a
watched
good.
it yet.
That was the
That's
best
what I've
part.
heard. My friend told me
Yeah.
they're like, there's a lot of dong in the movie, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and I was shocked.
Let's check it
I was
out.
shocked. Ralph Fiennes shows his dick, and I'm like, he's an Academy Award winning nominated actor, and he's
Yeah.
showing his dick. I'm like, wow, like that was a nice surprise. I was in the theater, and I was
Yeah.
like, that was cool. So
Dude, we appreciate it. Yes. Yeah.
and Bone Lake gets you right away because the first
Oh, God,
opening
that
scene
open,
of the
that-
movie
that open.
is
Change your life.
is two naked people running through the woods, and I'm like, Jerry recommended this movie to me. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know the plot. I didn't know anything. I'm like, I'll put it on. I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, two naked people.
So watch
and then,
the open.
and then the guy gets a crossbow arrow through his balls, which I've never seen before. And if you didn't like what we said earlier about the movie, you weren't interested, watch it for that.
Watch it,
It's in the
that
very
open
first
is
minute of the
gonna
movie,
change
and
your
you're
life.
hooked. Yeah, never
It's
seen
funny
that
because,
before.
yeah, when we originally talked about it, I told the producer, I'm like, hey guys, hear me out. I want to try something that's a little intense. And they're like, we love that. I'm like, okay, I'm working with the right people. But if you guys want to hear a funny story about
yes.
shooting that day on set, okay. So we were shooting in Rhode Island, and I kid you not, it was like 35 degrees. And these poor actors, I'm asking them to be naked all day long in the forest. And so they have these giant ass coats on. And then every time we call pictures up, action, they have to take off their coats. And that is true acting, to not shiver when you're naked and cold in a forest. And yeah, and so it was this crazy experience where we had a piece of equipment malfunction. It was a fog machine, and so it sparked, and all of a sudden it lit up the forest, and the forest
Oh my
catches on
God.
fire. And we're like, oh my God. I'm like, we can't burn down Rhode Island. Like,
I mean, maybe you
gonna
could. It's Rhode Island. You don't want to miss
care.
it.
And so it was just a crazy situation where all of a sudden everyone starts like taking off their jackets, and all like the guys are taking off their shirts just to like throw it on the fire and like put it out. We ended up being okay, but it's really funny because the fire department showed up, and they just were making sure there was no more sparks since we had to wait to shoot. And finally, I'm like, okay, is everyone safe? I made everyone give a verbal confirmation of like, yes, we're safe. I'm like, okay, great, let's shoot. Like, I just lost an hour out of my day. Like, please, let's shoot. And so we go, and I call, and I go, pictures up. And so they take off their jackets. They're completely naked. And I hear someone whispering, like, Mercedes, like, the firemen aren't gone yet. Like, you can't do this.
Yeah, they're like,
And so I'm like, okay, cut. Like, everyone put your jackets back on. And then when the fireman went to leave, he comes up to me and he goes, I don't know what kind of movie you guys are making, but I hope you have a fun time.
Oh, that's funny. You know what though? They're firemen, and firemen get laid a lot. So like,
They're making sure everything was
Exactly.
okay.
Probably not a
Yeah,
big deal.
totally. Yes, exactly.
They were
That's really
definitely
funny.
making sure that everything was safe. That's funny.
Yes, yes.
That's an awesome story. Mercedes, I feel like I want to hit you with a couple of rapid fire questions right
Let's do it.
now. It's like not serious, just whatever comes to your mind, let us know how you feel. All right. So,
Okay.
what is your horror comfort film?
My horror comfort film. Oh, not Hereditary.
Great. Love that. Okay.
My horror comfort film is probably Freaks. Just
Freaks.
because
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I was not expecting that answer.
Freaks doesn't challenge you anymore as a film. That's what you're telling us.
No, I think it's just because I appreciate so much. Like to me, to know that people made something that would be so hard to get made. I think it's just comforting to go, this is such cool art of all these people coming together. And I just enjoy the characters in the world that they're creating. And I think for me, a comfort movie is I just feel like no matter what I watch it, it's going to be good. And I enjoy the experience.
You know what we
No-
did? We
no
did an
judgment.
episode on comfort films, and my comfort film is Maniac from like the late '80s.
Cool.
So like
Yes.
not as fucked up as Freaks, but like so I get it. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm more new school. I did Open 24 Hours. That was my comfort film.
Nice.
I probably watch it 30 times a year, which is I don't know what that says about me. All right. What's popping right now in film? Writer, director, actor, literally anyone or anything. What do you think is popping right now?
What's popping right? You just like what's popular and what people respond.
No,
to.
what do you like?
What
What
do
you
you
think?
like?
Oh, what do
You
I
think?
like?
Yeah. Who do you
Oh.
think? Like, what do you think is popping right now?
Oh, let's see. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a cliche answer, but I just think watching The Substance,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, I
Love
don't know
it.
that. Like, I can't remember another time I watched a horror movie. It made me cry in the theater because I'm just like, man, this hits hard. Like, this is just sad. Like, just for example, the scene where she's gonna go on the date and she's so self-hating and she does it. Like, I usually, even though I love horror movies, I'm like, dramas make people cry. Like, it's not usually the experience I have, and it gave me that experience.
Yeah, and as a male, we had a different perspective on that movie, but I think it's one of the most brilliant movies I've ever seen.
It was
in
our
my
number one
life.
film,
Yeah.
wasn't it? For
Of 2024. Yeah,
2024.
I love
Amazing.
it.
Yeah.
It's
it
just
was
so creative and so well done.
Yeah.
The camera techniques are out of this world. The performances are amazing. It's just a story I've never seen before, and
Yeah.
I love The Substance. So we picked. Well, Jerry picked Bone Lake as his top movie of last year. It was my number 2. But still, that's pretty good. What was
No,
your
that did.
favorite
I'll take it.
favorite movie of last year? If you could think of like what you saw last year, and
My
it could be an
favorite
indie movie, it
movie.
could be a big movie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I'm going to list 2 movies. So one of my favorite movies that I think is a lot of people's favorite was Weapons. But another movie that I think feels like a horror movie, even though it technically isn't, is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Have you guys seen that?
No,
Haven't
I've not
seen it
that.
yet. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
in
to
my
just kind
queue.
of give,
Yeah.
to give the premise briefly, it's about this woman who has this kid with health issues and just how hard it is for her to have to go through this. And she's trying to be a good parent, but like she just can't handle it. And it's almost like we need to talk about Kevin, but not, because you're just like, oh my God, she's in this experience and like, what is she supposed to do about it? And to me, that's really scary.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that one yet.
it's definitely it's in my queue. I almost watched it last night, but went with something different. So little
Yes.
little
It's
little
not
lighter.
a feel-good time,
yeah. It was.
so.
I went a little lighter. All right,
Yeah.
I got another question for you. This is a heavy hitter right here. Okay,
Okay.
ready? The final girl trope. Keep it going, or is it time for a change?
I think that a lot of times cliches are cliches because they work for a reason. And so I think that we need to subvert things and look at it in new ways. Like, for example, we don't always see a stoner as a final girl. Like we saw that in Cabin in the Woods, but I go, okay, that's a way to keep the same tropes,
Yeah.
but to do it in a different way. So I think it's just about being smart about it, because even we look at movies and we think they're real. And then if you know film history well enough, you're like, well, they did that 60, 70 years ago, but everyone thinks it's new because it's new to them.
So
Love
one
it.
thing I liked about Bone Lake, and Jerry and I talk about final girl fatigue, and what we mean by that is so many movies, like the last act is basically just a woman getting chased around, and it gets old really quick, especially on a rewatch. And I liked Bone Lake because it was a final couple. And you could do more with that because you could cut back and forth to different things. So you're not just focused on a cat and mouse with two people, which
Yeah.
does seem to get boring. So I like when people are experimenting, doing like different things with basically like, I mean, how else do you end a horror movie, right? Like there's going to be
Yeah.
one or two people left and that's it.
Have
And
to,
they have to
yeah.
face off against the killer. And I like when you're able to do something a little different. So I appreciated that about Bone Lake, that it wasn't just like one killer chasing. It was like two different people. So there were like
Okay,
two
yeah.
different setups going on. And then when one was down, the other was chasing. So it was a great way to keep that last half hour really interesting, which is really tough to do because it's, especially on a rewatch. The first time you watch it, you're like, okay, because you don't know when it's going to end. But then the next time you watch it, like there's a lot of movies that I love that I will turn off and not watch the final 20
Yeah.
minutes because I don't need to. All right. I got what I needed out of it. Now it's just like basically let's just skip to like the final part. So like I love when people are doing different things with that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, again, it is. We do have a final girl, but we're like, let's make it final couple. So do what works, but do it different.
Yeah, a little change. It's like so simple, but like it makes it a completely different, more interesting movie.
Love it, and we're getting way off track here from Evil Dead, but it's okay because
Oh, yeah.
I still want to talk. Wait, hold on a second. I still want to talk about like Bone Lake for a second here because I mean it was just
We'll
so
bounce around all
influential.
over the
Yeah,
place.
it was so influential to us. I mean, some of the influences in the film, you know, they were obviously, you know, the kind of clear, you know, it's like Barbarian stuff like that with like, you know, the Airbnb mishap, you know, things like that, but. I've been going around telling everyone Mercedes. And I mean
yes.
everybody. I'm everywhere. I'm on other podcasts talking about it.
This is true. He's always talking about this movie.
Like
yeah.
and I'm
That's amazing.
I'm saying that I feel a lot of French horror film influence in this film, especially in that last act. I'm seeing like crazy shit like Martyrs and Revenge.
One of my
and
favorite
Mads.
movies of all time.
So
Also, yes,
I guess
both of those.
that's really what I want to ask you is I know it may not be so obviously connected, but are you a fan of the genre? Is it something that you like? Do you see it as an influence or just crept in accidentally?
No, totally. I mean, it absolutely is an influence because I always think
Oh,
of foreign
love it.
movies and I always think, oh, they do things that are shocking that American movies wouldn't do. So, like, for example, the plot
Exactly
twist
what
of
I
Old
said.
Boy, you're like, did they just do that? And that's what we do a little bit. And exactly like, oh, go ahead, Rich. What were you
No, I
going
was
to say?
gonna say the plot twist in Old Boy is probably the craziest plot twist I've ever seen in any movie.
Yeah, that's my number
ever,
one favorite
ever.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
totally.
I'm a
Love it.
huge fan. I like Lady Vengeance better.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
Old Boy's
also
really good.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But like with that too, you know, Martyrs. I've seen Martyrs 3 times, which is for a lot of people 2 times too many. Like I've showed it to people and they're like, I can't handle this. But I kind of, you know, I'm a little twisted. I love to introduce people to Martyrs or just even Requiem for a Dream. And I'm just like, because I like to
Yes.
see people be like, what the hell was that? What experience do these go to? I'm like, watch some cat videos. It'll be okay afterwards.
It's funny you mentioned this. Martyrs is my all-time favorite horror movie. I say it all the time.
Oh, amazing.
And Requiem for a Dream is a movie whenever I'm like looking to be like inspired to like write or like go do
Yeah.
a film. That's the movie I always put on because it's just not only is it just dark, it's just so brilliant. Like it's just
Yeah.
that movie for whatever reason inspires me. So I'm glad you picked that. What are some
Yeah.
other like foreign movies that you would recommend?
Oh, what are movies I recommend? I always like I have watch lists for things and then I'm put on the spot and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many to even think about it. I mean, Elle is another amazing movie that I recommend to people.
What is it?
L-E-L-L-E.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. And so Elle is this erotic thriller, but I hesitate from calling it erotic because I don't even want to say anything about it because when you realize the plot twist of what's going on, it is really disturbing. So I always love to ask people, I'm
Love
like,
it.
what movie makes you really uncomfortable? And if people say Elle, I'm like, okay, we're on the same level of watching weird movies.
So I have like one more question before we get into Evil Dead 2, and it's kind of fitting. A lot of people hate on horror remakes. A lot of them are trash, but there are some that are really good. Like I think the Evil Dead remake is really good. It's like really entertaining, well done. I love Evil Dead Rise. That's my favorite of the franchise. If you could remake any horror movie, like there's a like, what would you pick and do your spin on it?
Yeah, it's funny because like there's been so many that have been remade. I would say Nightmare on Elm Street, but I don't even know if I could say it because I haven't watched the remake because I haven't heard a lot of people who love it. But I watched the original. I'm like, the fact that it's surrealist horror to me is really enticing. And I just think you can do things to the set pieces because of the premise and what it is.
Yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, it's interesting. That's a tough one because the original
weird,
is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just perfect. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It's like the makeup they did for Freddy is tough. The actor's really good. I forget his name, but he's actually really good. Just the guy from Watchmen. I can't think of what his name is. But the makeup like takes you out of the movie, and there's too much. Like they do some of the same scenes the same, and it's just not the same. It's just like they tried to modernize it. And it's like you can't really modernize like stuff like that. So I'm
totally.
I'm a little split on it.
Yeah. Or speaking of remakes, it's really interesting because I think that there used to be a lot more even campy horror movies than there is nowadays. Like we just see things go through ebbs and flows. And you look at the original Hellraiser and I'm like, this movie is so campy. And that's what's so fun about it. And I think the new Hellraiser, it took itself very seriously. And so it's almost just a shock to watch it because I go, oh, I wasn't expecting this franchise to take itself seriously. And it's just a weird shift.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Hellraiser remake. It was just too long, to be honest with you. I liked the new take on Pinhead. I liked the actress was really good, and I thought there was some cool parts. But it was too long, and it was too modern is the wrong word, but it just felt like something I'd seen 100 times, even though it was brand new, right? It was
exactly.
Whereas I know Jerry does not like Hellraiser. I'm a huge fan of the original, just because it's so different and just fucking crazy. But like I get what you're saying. It is a bit campy. Like it's like bizarre. It's just like such a weird.
It's bizarre. Yeah, you're like, okay, we have like S&M villains, basically, is what the movie is.
That are barely in the movie, yet that's all you remember from the movie.
Yes.
Maybe I'd like it more if they were in the film more. I don't know. Just saying, you know.
So back to Evil Dead 2.
Oh, Evil Dead 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just
talking about that.
Just to kind of wrap up a bit. So like one thing I actually do like about Evil Dead 2 and Evil Dead 1 also, and very similar to again like a Bone Lake, is that it's in a very small location. It's just everything, most of the movie, even though they do go outside, they do go into other spots, but it's mostly in this one room. And they keep it interesting throughout. And it's a small room too, that like all these characters in, and somehow they're able to like keep the tension up and interesting without doing a lot. And it's not like there's crazy dialogue, but it's just really effective. And you don't realize that it's all in one place, like unless you're analyzing the movie and you're like, wait, what? Like, I like movies that can take, again, it just shows the writing and the filmmaking when you could take something very simple and make a 90-minute movie out of it. Like,
yeah, totally. Because it doesn't matter. You know, I can watch movies that are all in one room and think they're really interesting, and then I can watch movies that are war with tons of explosions and car chases and be like, nah, okay. And or I could watch movies with tons of car chases and be like, this is amazing. Like, it's just whether you care about the people or the elements that they're giving you and you feel connected to it.
Yeah, you're in this movie. You are really connected to Ash, and I think that's again a tribute to Bruce Campbell, and like he's such a likable. Even though like he doesn't do anything really likable, like he's not like doing all these wonderful things.
He's kind of a dick. I mean, they're not supposed to be,
exactly.
They're not supposed to be in that cabin. Like it's not their cabin, and they just show up, and they're staying there for days. And he's kind of like pissy when the people that own the cabin show up, like they're the outsiders. You know?
And the first thing they do is kick his ass, which I think is really funny.
Totally.
Like I love the movie. So the first like 37 minutes are Ash getting his ass kicked, and then finally new characters show up, and the first thing they do is like beat the shit out of him.
Kick his ass.
So we're like, that's what we want to see. Yeah.
So I want to say one of my favorite things about this film is I love when like the camera is basically flying through like the woods, and it's flying. It's basically kind of showing you the point of view from the evil. And like, you feel like Ash could see this and other people could see this. And I'm always wondering, I'm like, what do you think it is that they could see? Like, what do you think Ash is viewing? Why this camera is like flying through the air? Like, what is the evil that he's trying to avoid? Is it just like some wind, or does he actually see something, you know, that kind of looks like an entity? But I don't know why that's the one thing that I'm always like questioning. I'm like, what is it that they see? Because it's never quite clear. We only see the point of view of the evil, but I do like that. You know,
it's so funny because I've never thought about it like that ever. It's like, what is he seeing? Because it's just so, you're just like, oh, it's evil itself. Like, I don't know what that looks like. And you just kind of buy into it.
I mean, when me and Rich used to watch it when we were young kids, we get all excited, like the evil is flying. Like we like, here it comes, someone's gonna get their ass kicked, and we get all excited from it. But I never actually took the time until this time to think about it. It's like, well, what is it? What the hell are they looking
what
at?
is that?
But
I think it's just an energy. It's just a feeling. Like you just feel
you
this
get
right?
like
feeling.
force coming towards you, and like you kind of hear maybe the thing air rumbling, or I don't know. But I never really thought of that either because they are horrified. But yeah, I think it's just you just can sense something bad is coming to fuck you up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but I've had experiences where I've been in certain parts of Los Angeles and I'm like, I just feel like there's something not good coming after me. And so I'll like run down the street.
Was that downtown?
That's the mental patients that should be like getting treatment. Unfortunately, they're on the streets. That's what you're experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, I live downtown. I've never been chased or followed before, but I've lived in other places like West Hollywood. I'm like, yep, they're coming after me. But no, it's just like there's not actually anything coming after you. Sometimes you're just like, it's this presence that I need to lock the door right now.
I mean, I live in Amityville, so I always feel like there's something close by. So you never know. But Rich is in LA. Well, you were in West Hollywood, weren't you?
I was in Hollywood for a while. Close to West Hollywood. Yeah, I was like
that also happens in Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived like I was 2 blocks from the Walk of Fame, so like there was definitely an element.
Oh yeah, I know when people come and they're like, "I'm going to check this out." I'm like, "Why?"
You know what? I had to do it too, and then I was like, "Okay, good. I saw it.
You
Move
got
on."
it. Yeah.
I would say another one of my favorite movies, favorite parts of this movie. Again, it's like these small kind of subtle things that I just latch onto. There's a scene where there's this guy, I forget his name. He's one of the other people with Ash. He's got overalls on for some reason, and he
Jake?
he gets fucked up, and he's like in the doorway, and the evil's coming, and the woman's like trying to like shut the door to keep the evil out, and she keeps like slamming it into like the guy's body. And I always thought he was dead, and then he gets up, and it's just like, oh my god, it's like silly. But she doesn't just do it once; she has like 5 times. It's
Like the move. Oh, it's so funny. I love that. I was laughing so hard from that.
Yeah, because she has to do it 5 times. You're like, at this point in the movie, like, can't do it once. Come on.
This movie it's so over the top. It's really ridiculous, but it does work. And if you get in the vibe of the movie, I think I would love to kind of like talk to like a younger person now who's seeing it for the first time, because like for us, it's like there's a nostalgia. At least for me, you saw it like a couple years ago, but like you've seen older movies, like you kind of grew up with this stuff. And for me, there's like a nostalgia. Like I wonder if like you saw this for the first time, you would like think it's ridiculous, because I had this experience where I'm a huge fan of the movie Labyrinth. And I grew up watching it. It was my favorite movies. But when I show it to people that have never seen it before, they all hate it because they're like, it looks
They're like
silly.
David Bowie in tights.
Tough watch, man.
It doesn't work. But like I'm like, what are you not seeing that I'm seeing? Like this is like so great. They're like, this is like stupid. I wonder if people like are seeing it for like if you're 20 years old and you're seeing Evil Dead 2 for the first time, like how you would kind of resonate with it.
I can't tell. No, that's a great question. Because I've also, even the original Star Wars movie, like I've shown a friend who had never watched it, and she's like, what is this? They're puppets? And I'm like, but you don't get it. Like, it's genius. What are you talking about? But it is. It's like you come into it at different points. But I can't tell. I would just wonder, because it isn't supposed to look real, that you're not being asked to suspend disbelief because you're like, this is what this is. But I want to talk to someone who's Gen Z and go, what do you think about this? Because it's also a different form of humor and just everything.
Yeah, like I wonder. So if anyone out there is Gen Z and is like listening to this, let us know what you think.
Let us know.
But I like what you said about that. Is like it's not supposed to, like, it's not like they did like this. They made a monster and it just looked bad. Like they're not trying to make it look like real. Like they're fucking around. Like they took it seriously, but like they're not like trying to make it look real. It's supposed to look kind of silly.
Exactly.
So like you kind of get into it that way. You could suspend disbelief. And again, as a kid, like I never thought this looked bad. I was like, this is badass. Like I mean, these things are terrifying.
Like a little square TV, it looked awesome. Like even the blood looked like realistic on like one of those tube TVs. Like we were watching this at like 3 a.m. Like, oh my god, this is so realistic.
And 720p on a VHS.
And so one thing I started doing is when we do watch these older movies, to not watch them on my really nice TV, is to watch them on like a shittier TV or like a laptop, which is like not the ideal way to experience a movie, but it kind of hides a lot of these things, helps. And you get to see the movie as you would have seen it then, which is a big deal, because there's a lot of movies that I'll rewatch and I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. But then if I watched it on like again, I was watching on a VHS back in the day, and like the quality's
Looked awesome.
garbage.
Yeah.
But I was
Totally.
so into it.
Yeah, or like I rewatched Princess Bride recently, and we watched it on Blu-ray, and it had like
Oh my
high
God.
def mode, and we're like, why is it so crisp? Like, this is just raw. You can't watch this like this because we're used to watching VHS tapes when we were kids, and it did not look like that. So it feels weird.
Love that you mentioned that movie. I made my wife watch it like a few months ago, and she'd never seen it her entire life. And it's like,
Oh my God.
one of those moments where you feel like maybe you shouldn't be together. Did you not see that? What were you doing?
You know what?
What were you doing?
I resisted
doing?
that movie for a long time. I didn't
it's
watch
brilliant.
it when I was younger because I thought it would be stupid. I'm like, Princess Bride, that sounds like that's not for me. And then I was dating somebody and they made me watch it, and I was like, all right, I'll watch this like for you. And I was like, yeah, this movie's brilliant. It's so good. But
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
never
it's
watched
funny
it.
because a lot of people are like the little boy going into it. They're like, this is dumb. Like, why are
That was
they
me.
kissing and
Yeah.
smooching? And they're like, come on. Like, the grandpa's like, no. That's not what we're here for.
So Mercedes, one thing we do on this show is we do play another quick little drinking game, and we rate these movies on a scale of 0 to 5 bloody knives, 0 being the worst, 5 being the best.
Okay.
And how we do it when it's just Jerry and I is like whatever rating I give the movie is the number of sips he needs to give the movie, and vice versa. But when we have a guest, to make it simpler, is we have our guest pick a person to drink with. And like, for example, if you were to pick Jerry, you are going to do the sips that Jerry would normally do. I don't know if that made sense, but basically you need to flip a coin and pick one of us. And you probably want to pick the person that you think liked the movie the least, because that means the least amount of drinking, unless you have a ton of kombucha there and you want to get fucked up. And then, so I will, before we rate
John
these
goes
movies,
with that
I
kombucha.
think I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe we do a practice round and we'll see. Yeah.
Well, I think before we even do the final rating on this film, maybe it's a perfect time to maybe interject another drinking game, just to kind of bring the mood back up.
we could do that. Let's do a quick one, and then we'll finish this one out. Are you good with that, Mercedes?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, okay. All right. Love it. And
Awesome.
remember, Jerry needs to lose. This is very important.
I mean, it's not cool, but I probably will lose. But what I did today, Mercedes, since we're so happy to have you as a guest, I brought out everyone's favorite drinking game, and it is called Random Ass Trivia, and it involves
Oh my
this
God.
wheel right here. So this is pretty simple. I'm going to ask some questions, and they're just going to be about Evil Dead 2. So it's not going to be like
Okay.
any surprise questions, but they're going to be some random ass questions about the film. But before I do that, I'm going to spin this wheel, and whatever number this lands on, that's going to be the number of sips that are on the line. So first of all, I
right.
want to know, are you down to play this game? Because our
I'm
legal
down.
team has to
Oh,
sign
that was
some
a
paperwork.
quick consent.
Okay, good.
And Mercedes, just so you know, it's things that actually you saw on screen. It's not like some random trivia like about like where he got the financing from or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's not about that. No, it will take place in the film, but it's not like the most obvious thing. But yeah,
cool.
so I mean, since you're down in the legal team, let me just check. All right, no, they're good. They got that noted. Okay, so just if you get a package in the mail, just sign it and send it back to us. So you're
Copy
okay
you.
that you're okay to playing this game. So I'm because we don't know, because honestly, the biggest number for tonight is the number 11. So
Oh my.
so there could be potentially 11 sips on the line here. So I'm gonna spin this, and then we're gonna play the game. So here we go. Ready?
And the first time we played this, it was all 11s, like constantly. The last time, it was a lot of ones, so you don't know what's going to happen. And we got
Close.
two.
It was
Two.
close.
Okay.
It was close. All right, two. Okay. All right. They showed this the whole time in the film. What time did the clock stop when everything was going down in this movie?
Oh my
Two
God.
sips.
Okay.
Showed it like 6 times.
Oh my God. Even though I love this movie, it's been like a year or two since I watched
It's
it. so I'm
random
like,
ass
no.
trivia. That's it. It's random ass. So
I don't want to guess midnight because it's cliche, but I don't know what to guess other than midnight.
I will
Did I
give you
get
a
it wrong?
hint. It's close.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you another guess. It's close.
It's close. 12:30.
Oh my God, so close. All right, so you
Okay.
guys gotta. So you and Rich are still a team. I just wanted to. I think I forgot to mention that. You got.
Oh,
it was
I'm playing?
Yeah, you're playing.
I
It was
should
actually.
ask Rich. Yeah.
No, I don't know the answer.
Fuck
I have
him.
no idea.
It was actually 11:30. So that's it.
okay.
So
All right,
I was
cheers.
off.
two
Cheers.
sips for you guys. All right. Whew. Let's get back to the wheel here and see what we got. All right. Is that fully in frame? Let's do it.
Yeah. And it's. I know you said your cinematographer was a cinematographer on Saw 10. Saw 10's I think my favorite of the Saw
No, we're
films.
not gonna do two
It's-
again.
two.
No way.
It's so
No way we're
good.
doing
It's
two.
so
I'm
different.
not just saying this because of him, but I'm also like, I agree. Yeah.
It's so different yet so like it fits, and I love Saw 10. Sorry, what did it land on?
Oh,
We were
so
talking-
10. Oh, 6. So
Okay.
it landed
Ooh.
on 2 again, but
All right,
I
we gotta get
respun
this
it
right. We
because
gotta get this
because
right.
I don't
Okay.
like repeat numbers. Okay. All right. This could be a really, really simple question. I don't know, but it was kind of like news to me. What is Ash's full name?
Oh, I should know this.
It was shocking
know.
to me.
Do you know, Rich? Do you know Ash's
Yeah, I
full name?
do. I believe
Go ahead.
it's Ashley Williams. Ashley Williams.
Close enough. Ashley J. Williams, correct.
Okay. All right, we'll take it.
Okay.
All right.
Oh wait, we don't drink.
All right, brutal. All right, let's go back to the wheel here. Let's see what we land on here. Big numbers. One.
All right, we could purposely miss this. Yeah.
All right, so this is not.
No, we need him to lose.
too-
It's very important.
Too
Okay,
bad. All right. So what year did the Necronomicon disappear? And that might sound like a ridiculous question, but also at the end of the film, Ash actually goes back to that same exact year when he travels back in time.
Oh, okay. So very old year.
So they
It's
said
thir-
it. They
it's
said it like
13
4 times.
It's 13 something. I don't know the actual year.
You're close. Go ahead. You're close. Go ahead. Go with it.
I would say like 1352.
All right. It was actually 1300 AD. So you're close,
all right,
but
all right.
one sip for you guys.
All right, we'll take
All
it.
right.
Alrighty.
That seems like 1300. Like, why not pick a random
Well, I mean,
year?
that was pretty good. I mean, you didn't like that.
No, but I mean like
that was
1302 or something more interesting. Like, what a weird.
1300, man. So you remember it for trivia. You know.
Fair.
All right, let's spin the wheel again here. We're looking for a big number. Oh, 6 again. Okay. All right, you guys had to really be paying attention for this.
I wasn't.
You talked about the scene. We actually talked about the scene twice tonight. Ash cuts off his hand. There's some ridiculous scene where he tries to like trap it in a bucket and he puts a whole bunch of books on top of the bucket.
I think I know
What's
the
that
answer
book?
to
What's the
this.
book on top?
Okay.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
do know this. I know the answer. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. It has
And
something
it
to
makes
do
sense.
with like. It's like something to do with like losing an arm. It's like
Very
related
close.
to
You're
that.
right there. You're right
Yeah,
there. You're right there.
okay.
Go ahead. Go with it.
I mean,
It's
I don't.
Hemingway,
It's Hemingway. I don't. I know it has to do with their arms. So
you're
Rich,
there.
because I
You're right
guessed
there.
that.
You're right there. Go ahead, Rich.
it's a farewell to arms.
Perfect. Nailed it. You guys nailed it. God, that's twice now. I got the 6. Oh. Yeah, the literature majors.
I'm
know
impressed that we got that. I'm gonna give myself a pat
I
on
didn't
the
at
back.
first. At first, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Then once you said like, I was like, okay, got it.
Okay, good teamwork.
Teamwork. Yeah.
All right, so,
Let's
so
take this on the road.
I just have a bonus question right now, and this is just about Evil Dead in general. Are you guys willing to play this bonus round question? I mean, you're winning, so.
Absolutely not. No, let's do it.
I mean, spin the wheel first. Let's see what the number is first.
All right, we'll spin the wheel one more time and see what it lands on. Let's see. Let me like kind of
That's a good spin.
try to get something different here. Something different. I don't like the one. I don't like the one.
Okay.
We can't end on one. Let me. I want to end with like a
Yeah, you can't-
crescendo. Like
Yeah.
We
oh,
reject
like-
the one.
We need a
There we
real.
go.
Oh,
There we
yeah,
go.
right.
It's on 11. It's
We
on
need a
11.
real moment.
Oh my God. All right. So there's a lot
This
on
is
the
important.
line.
Lock in. Let's lock in.
And I'm a little nervous now. I'm a little nervous. So I'm actually pouring because I'm like really nervous right now. And I don't really want to do this. And I'm certainly not going to tell you how many cats I have. So even after the 11 sips. Okay, so we know the trilogy of the Evil Dead, Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2. You know, we know Army of Darkness. We know that. There's a new trilogy, which is Evil Dead Rise. Guys, can you tell me the name of the new Evil Dead that's coming out in 2026?
Mm.
3 seconds.
I know it if you don't.
Go for it.
It's Evil Dead Burn.
God damn it!
My friend who's a producer on the Evil Dead films is going to listen to this and kill me. So
We'll cut it and we'll dub it in.
Yeah,
We'll
if you
dub
want
it
to
in.
say
You
the
nailed
answer,
it.
yeah, Evil Dead Burn. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, once again, Jerry fails. He's starting to slur. He has work tomorrow, and he has to take 11 sips.
Nice, nice. I have nothing to do tomorrow, and I'm I'm not taking any sips, so that's perfect. Cool. So, Mercedes, before we get into our ratings on Evil Dead 2, what else do you have coming up? Like, what's next for you?
Totally. So obviously I'm a horror fan. That's why I'm on this podcast. So I have more horror film thrillers that are in the docket, but I also have a movie that I can't announce yet, but it's being announced soon. But it's a surrealist dramedy. And so it's very surreal, and like Eternal Sunshine, Everything Everywhere at Once is the big comp for us.
Oh, wow.
So I can't say anything beyond that, but I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, very cool. We'll look out for that. So also just, I guess, a question I wanted to ask, because I know Evil Dead, obviously you talked about as a influence. What are some like filmmakers that inspire you that are influences? They don't need to be horror, just in general. Like who do you like?
Totally. I mean, I mentioned Old Boy is like one of my favorite ones. And then separate from horror, like Jean-Pierre Jeunet is one of my favorite filmmakers, like City of Lost Children and Amelie. Like I just think that's very special. Yeah, those are some of my main ones.
And what would you say if you had to pick, and it's hard to make a list, but like, we're talking horror now. So like all time, if you had to say top 3 horror films, and I know it changes every day. So like just whatever you're feeling now, it doesn't need to be your actual top 3, but like, give me 3 bangers that are like.
That's like asking me to choose my favorite children, but
you're going to leave something out. It happens. Yeah.
I know. Probably Clockwork Orange.
Hell yes.
Yes. And then The Substance, which we did talk about.
Love it.
And then a third one. I'm going to say something I don't know if other people would consider horror, but I consider it because we talked about Joe Dorosky. Like Santa Sangre is also one of my favorite ones.
It's horror adjacent, I would say.
Yeah. To me, it's pretty horrifying.
Yeah, it's funny. I was like describing that movie to somebody recently. They just happened across the trailer and like, what the fuck is this? And I was just like trying to like, but I couldn't. And I was just like, you just gotta get into it. You just gotta watch it. Like it's yeah. I'm trying to think. What was the last Jodorowsky movie I really liked? It was like the poetic. I forget what it was. It was so good. Anyway, he did a movie like 10 years ago. It was really good. A poetic something. Anyway, so how can people find you if they want to like follow you and learn more about kind of what you're doing?
Totally. So they can find me on Instagram at Mercedes Bryce Morgan.
Okay, great. Awesome.
And also,
yeah, go ahead. No, keep going.
I was going to say everyone should check out Bone Lake. It was really cool. It was top 10 on Netflix this past week, which again, for us having a 4-person in a house movie. But that's where people can find it. It's on Netflix.
That's well deserved. Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I love people are just discovering it, and it's probably because Jerry and I are talking about it so much. That's probably the reason, but
that's it. Thank you guys.
No, it's very cool for like, again, an indie horror movie to like really pop on a platform like that. So congratulations. That's great. Where can people find Spoonful of Sugar?
Spoonful of Sugar is on Shudder.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah, Spoonful of Sugar is great. And you did do one other film.
Yes.
You want to talk about that one?
I did another movie, Fixation, which is also a horror thriller. It was at TIFF, but sadly it never got released, which is one of those movies where you have everything you ever hoped for it. It gets in this amazing festival, but it's because there's a whole political thing behind it. But hopefully one of these days we could release it.
That is heartbreaking. That is,
I know.
Especially for your first film. Yeah,
Totally.
for me, like I'm a filmmaker too. And my first film, like we got distribution, it released for 3 weeks, and then the company got bought out by another company, and then they took down everything, and then it was gone. And I was just like,
oh my God. So you know the pain that I know. Yes.
Yeah. Not the same. Not the same. Not the same,
but yeah, you're like, I only poured my, like my heart and soul into this. It's fine.
It's crazy too when like some of these like movies, again, like are really good, just never see the light of day. And like I know like yeah, you hear about it all the time, and it's just like, God, whatever happened? It's such a bummer.
know.
Anyway, hopefully this podcast experience, like, we'll get that movie released, and like, I know
That's
everyone's
it.
everyone's
Just the same way
listening.
you guys
and-
help Bone Lake on Netflix. It will
I
be
mean,
because of you
there's
guys.
executives right now from MGM, Sony tuning in. They want to know what the horror heads are doing. Now they know. Now they know which next film is going to pop. I am not a filmmaker, but I am an avid karaoke singer, and I just want to say, Happier was one of my go-tos a few years ago. I just
Oh
want
my
to say,
God,
I just,
yes.
I
Thank
just,
you.
I just want to say that right now. I know you can't tell by like my Long Island drawl, but I can sing a little bit. So
Yeah, no, totally. When people are like, it made me cry. The Dead Dog music video. I'm like, thank you so much.
I was showing my wife the video. She's like, "Oh my god!"
You're like, cry, come on. Yeah.
But love the song, love the video, and to be able
Thank
to
you.
capture that much mood and substance in like 3.5 minutes is incredible.
Thank you. That means
and
a
it totally
lot.
translates to like your filmmaking. I mean, it's all there. Like we feel it.
Thank you.
So loving
And
what
just
you're
for
doing.
those like not who aren't in the know, Mercedes started out directing music videos, and that's kind of where she kind of got her teeth kind of sharpened to make these amazing horror movies.
Exactly. Yeah, because you get to experiment and try things, and then you get on set and you're like, well, we know what we're doing. It's a great experience to have.
Very cool. So let's get into our ratings on Evil Dead
do
2.
it.
So what we'll do, Mercedes, is you give your rating first, 0 to 5, and
You have to
Jerry
pick
and
a team member though.
Oh yeah, right. You have to
Okay.
you have to pick a team member first, and I couldn't tell you. I don't have a recommendation here because I'm not sure how Jerry feels about it. So pick one. You could randomly. No one will be offended.
Okay. Because you have been my team member throughout this entire experience, I have to pick Jerry. So
Wait, no,
right.
I've been your team member. I'm Rich.
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Rich because you've been
You're
my
giving
team
him
member.
a chance. Yeah, you're giving
I
him an
need to
opportunity.
give Jerry a chance. Yes,
That's fair.
It
He
would
does
be
feel
unfair
left
for me
out.
to be with you a
Yeah.
third time.
See
Yeah.
how the tables turn, Rich. Just like
Yeah,
that.
I was all excited there thinking that. Okay, so but
No,
anyway,
no, you're
No,
you're
the
gone.
turns have tabled.
Out with
Yep.
the out with the old, in
I'm
with
out.
the new.
I'm out.
Okay?
All right. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
That's
we will
it.
start it. Mercedes, you will give your rating, and Jerry and I will drink those sips, and then we will get to the traitor kind of drinking with Jerry. That's fine.
Totally. I mean, so my rating, the thing is that I couldn't not pick this movie and absolutely love it. So for me, it's a 5 because
Oh,
of
no,
course.
I mean, that's what we
Yeah.
figured. And unfortunately, when we allow guests to pick movies, they do pick 5, and we get 5.
Yeah.
But, cheers. All right, I'm gonna give my rating that you are going to both drink to. It's not a 5. I'm gonna give it a 3, and
Oh.
the reason is, look, I really like the movie. I think it's filmmaking wise, it's brilliant. It's not one I watch all the time, and I always go to the original first. And this is one that I don't watch very often. And again, it's just simple. They're very similar movies. The other one for me just feels a little grittier, and so I go with that. So I'm gonna give it a 3.
Yeah.
All right.
I knew
3
you were
it
going to
is.
say that based on loving the first one. So.
Wait,
Cheers,
oh
let's
yeah,
do
you
it.
guys drink to that. Yeah, 3 sips for y'all both. And now Jerry's going to give his reading in solo dolo. I am going to drink it, and I'm curious. I don't know what you feel about this movie.
Yeah, last but not least, just like all Evil Dead films, there's one thing negative for me. These films are really noisy, and it's like it's kind of jarring at times, and it kind of ruins a little bit of my enjoyment of it. So I like a lot of the slapstick stuff. I love the camera work. I love seeing Bruce Campbell get his ass kicked, and I certainly love blood cannons, and there was 2 in this film. So this would normally rank a little bit higher, but this is like hard to watch and just kind of chill out and throw it on and just kind of chill out to it. I can't live in this movie because it's just like so like in your face. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Oh, that's a good rating. I thought you were. Gonna
Yeah,
give it.
No, I like the
I
film.
totally thought you were going to say lower. Yeah.
No, I totally like the. I would have went higher, but it's just a little jarring for me. That's all.
It's funny, and that's just. I think it's just us getting old because this never bothered me, but now it's the same thing. If there's so much screaming and noise in a movie, it's
I
hard
went to
for me to
theater
watch now.
like for Evil Dead. So Mercedes, I went to an
I'm
all
gonna drink
night
my
like
sips. Cheers.
yeah, do your thing. I was at like an all night like movie marathon, and Evil Dead was like the last film, and it was going on at 4 a.m. And I was
my
just
God.
thinking about all the screaming and all the yelling.
Doesn't the
and all
screaming
the
keep
noise.
you awake though?
No, I had to leave. I left. I'm going to be honest with you. Go ahead. Send me your hate mail. It's horrorheadspodcast at Gmail. I mean, go ahead, send it. I don't care. I just couldn't deal with that at 4 a.m. It was just too much. Maybe I am getting older, but it's a loud movie. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and when I was younger, like I was a huge fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like I loved
Fucking
those
loud.
movies. Now I can't
Very
watch it
loud.
because now it's just too much for me. And I'm like,
It's
all
loud.
right, quiet. But you know what it is? It's here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's the way movies are presented now on streaming platforms or whatever. And it's the audio mixing is how they are, and it's always really quiet when people are talking. You can't hear a goddamn thing.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
gotta turn the
Very
volume
true.
way up, and then all of a sudden it's super loud with music or screaming,
It's
and
the
you have to turn
thing.
the
I
volume.
find myself like mixing while I watch the movie.
Oh my
You
God,
gotta
yeah.
ride the remote, and I'm
The
just
whole time.
I'm so tired of doing that now. And I had heard that Amazon was going to actually make a filter for movies on Prime that
Really?
will balance the audio, so you don't have to keep doing
Oh.
that. But until that happens, I don't know why that's a thing. But that for the past few years, it's been that. So now when I'm watching these movies, it's more annoying than maybe
Yeah.
it was when I was watching it on like a VHS or a Blu-ray back in the day.
Yeah,
They're just
I
mixed
mean,
different.
just to give a plug, just speaking to that, is there's this video essay on YouTube. I don't know, like if you look up like audio in movies, like a history video essay, you'll find it. But it talks about how our audio quality has actually decreased a lot because a lot of actors, it's acceptable and considered good acting to mumble now because
Tom
we're like,
Hardy.
Exactly. That's like the number one example is you watch that and you're just like, what the hell is he saying? Like I have to put on subtitles, but it's because having such subtle, quiet performances now is very in. And it used to be you have to enunciate, and part of good acting was enunciating. And so it's kind of the era that we've entered.
Unfortunately, and hopefully it goes back to where we can actually understand.
That is
And I don't have to do
unfortunate.
this the entire time on my remote. So, okay, so Mercedes Bryce Morgan, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
This
you,
is an
guys.
absolute blast. Their newest movie, Bone Lake, is on Netflix. We highly recommend it. It's a fun, entertaining, bloody, just cool movie, and super excited to see what you do next. Spoonful of Sugar again I highly recommend it. It's artsy, it's dark, it's sexy, slow burn, but it's the payoff is completely worth it. That you can find on Shudder. Mercedes' first movie we cannot find, so hopefully some distribution company puts that out after Bone Lake is successful. But yeah, seriously, thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Last chance. How can people find you again?
They can find me on Instagram at Mercedes Bryce Morgan.
Great. And you can find us on Instagram at Horrorheads Podcast. You can email us horrorheadspodcast@gmail.com. Again, we do release episodes every week now. We're doing longer episodes, and then we are alternating weeks with Horror Shots, which is a shorter, more chilled down version of the show, which is also going to be super cool. So yeah, check us out. Season 3, here we are. Let's cheers one more time.
Hell
Thank you
yeah.
again so much. Have a great night,
Oh,
everybody.
yes. Cheers.
And Jerry lost both drinking games. That's all I care about. All right. All right. Good night.
Sam.